You're on the train or off the train. And if you feel a little bit off or you lose your lines, there's no way to say cut. You have to make it up and keep going. And so theater will always be my first love for that reason. It handed me a craft, and it gave me the ability to, one of the things in theater that's really beautiful for me is that there's a 4-week period is, that's your opportunity to do your worst acting school of acting. So you can get it out of your system. So that once there's an audience in the house, you've sort of refined where you think the character or the rhythm of the play or the musical should be. But that's the most interesting time in a play or a musical, because you're finding it, and you have no one watching except the director or choreographer, and you're able to really work through how the rhythm works and the poetry works. And then once the audience comes in, it changes everything. Because where you thought and expected there might be a laugh, where you thought or expected that there might be some kind of orgasmic reaction to what you're doing, there either is not or there is. And it's that kind of a very visceral audience and actor interaction that makes a play or a musical really work. Sometimes there's a laugh where you didn't think it would come, so you don't wait for it, you just keep going, and there's a laugh, and it stops you from delivering your next line. Well, that's the magic of theater. And so for theater, for me, developed my character, it developed my tenacity, my courage, it developed my voice, it developed my projection. And so then when I first did my first movie called Taps, I went to Los Angeles. We actually went to Pennsylvania, but there were all these film actors, and it was my first major feature film for 20th Century Fox. And they didn't have to develop that muscle. They had to develop that voice. And so they would just cut. You know, there was an inanimate object sitting in front of us, which was a whole other way of learning how to sort of act with a machine in between me and you, much like this plant is blocking your face. So I'm going to move it. That's an art form as well, because you have to learn to ignore it, like I've been ignoring that leaf, which is still in the way. And you sort of see through it, because you don't want to look into it. It's trying to capture your essence. But there's one other thing, and it's great I'm talking about Taps, because I went up for an audition for Taps with a wonderful casting director, Shirley Rich, and I think it was in 1980, and I auditioned for it, and Shirley knew me as an actor, and she really liked me. She had come to all my plays, and she looked at me after I did the reading, and she said, Giancarlo, you know I love you. And I knew she was going to drop the bomb. And she said, you really need to learn how to act. And I was crushed. Tears came to my eyes. And then she said, no, let me qualify that. You really need to learn how to act for the camera. Everything you're doing is too big. And I went away and did not get the job. And she said, I suggest to you that you go do more dramatic theater. Because I know you've done a lot of musicals, but go do some straight plays. And I went away from there absolutely crushed. I went to the Henry Street Settlement. I did 2 dramas there. I came back to Off-Broadway with the Negro Ensemble Company. I won the Theater World and the Obie Award for a play called Zoom Man and the Sign. And then I got a phone call saying they want you to come audition for this movie called Taps. I said, wait a minute, I auditioned for that. I didn't get it. It was a terrible experience, although it guided me to do my work, which is key, to do your work. Not only in your profession, but in your lives. You do your work. And when you do your work and you follow that, everything will come, everything will follow. And they said to me, no, the movie never got made. And Shirley Rich wants to see you again. I just saw him recently in Austin. He was shooting a film there. I'm shooting a TV show there. And I got the opportunity to ask him if he would speak for me. I'm getting my star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, April 29th.
Now you also directed a film, Gospel Hill, with Dan Glover and Angela Bassett. So how did your experience as an actor inform your direction in terms of communicating?
I feel like I have a leg up.
Yes.
I feel like being an actor, and you know, this film was a great film with Spike, but we all refer to Spike as the coach. He's the coach. You know, Spike loves basketball, he loves sports, he loves baseball now. You know, the day I saw Spike, we always had a running argument. He was always a Mets fan, because he loves the underdog. Spike's about the underdog. And I was always a Yankee fan. He was always dogging me out. And one day I'm in Yankee Stadium, and Spike is, and I'm way up in nosebleed seats, and I look down, is that Spike Lee? What? Wait a minute. And is he wearing a Yankee hat? So I tried to find, the first thing I tried to do was find somebody with a camera. You know, get me on the air, man, because Spike and I love each other, been friends for a long time, but we like to rib each other. So I just wanted to go on camera and go, wait, is that Spike Lee down there wearing a Yankee hat? Turncoat! Turncoat! Because he was always like, I love the Mets. But he got tired of the Mets losing. So he switched to being a Yankee. So when I saw him, I said, what, you're a Yankee fan now? He said, yeah, man. Yeah. Trying to play it. Giancarlo, man. You know, Yankees are winners. I'm a winner. Yankees are winners. So it's not like, you know. But I learned a lot from Spike because he directs. He's much more refined now than he was years ago. 25 years since this film was made. And I feel so honored to be sitting here to talk about it. I feel like Spike really opened doors for so many artists, black and white and Asian. It was just about independent film. And he was the one who, what did he do? He showed us self-expression. Show enough, you dig. Like, what was that? Like, what are you talking about, man? Like 40 Acres and a Mule, show enough, you dig? I'm like, yeah, I dig, I got it, okay. The RZA, Wu-Tang Clan, it's like a different language. You know, you can't understand the RZA. I finished the movie, I did a movie with RZA, and he says to me, I'll see you at the shizzle. I said, what, huh? I'll see you at the shizzle, brother. The shizzle, the Shazam, you know, the shizzle. You know, the sparkle, the shizzle. Oh, you mean the opening night? Oh! But so to answer your question, being an actor who's putting in life, you know, especially now, like we got all of our electronics. So the first thing I did before I came up here was to turn off my electrical charge so that my own electrical charge could sort of charge and be in line with you. So that there's nothing beeping in my pocket, there's nothing, we're 90%. It was, you know, put out there subtly through Benson's writing, and then never answered. You know, Gus was a very complicated guy. And one of the great moments of the show for me was having dinner with Walt, and they asked me for pictures of my kids. And I want to protect my family. I have four girls. I don't live with them. We're all very close. And they asked me for photos to put on the wall, and they said, look, we're not going to show them in close-up, but we want to leave room that maybe Gus might have a family, so Vince would like to be able to cultivate that later if possible, if he needed to. And I said, okay. And I was excited, because once you get your own family, you're on a series for a while. Just, you know, I mean, gives you a little job security, you know. They're hiring other actors around you, it's good. That didn't happen, but once they made the meth lab, you know, that meth lab had to cost them $500,000 to just get that. It was all real. The sexuality question I thought was brilliant, because it really allowed to open up their heads surrounding how they felt about a character that they may have started to like. Somewhere in season 4, people started to root for Gus. They started to like Gus. But what does that change for them if he's a gay man? Right? So it makes you think about not only Gus, but about who you are, what your judgments are about people, how that changes your trip that you go through. I can tell you how I feel about it. I feel like the success of Gus for me was, and you talk about him being evil, but in actuality, there's a great article online by a psychologist about who was the better teacher. You'll look it up, you'll find it. Was it Gus or was it Walter? Who was the better teacher in terms of morality for Jesse? And if you look it up, you'll find it. My phone's off, so I can't read it to you. But here's my take on it. It's very good to be that way. But you know, so your daughter now, she's 14 years old. So never kiss on the lips. I said, Papa, I kiss on the lips. It's different. You have a girl. Don't kiss them. And she's 14 now. That's it. You don't kiss on the lips. And I said, you know, I understand. I totally get it. I got a 10-year-old now who is the sultriest, temptress. She's coming to live with me in September. She looks at me, hi, Papa. It just comes up for me, these stories. You know, we are, what we think grows. It's just so clear to me. It's just so clear, and it's really kind of simple. It's so simple that we miss it. It really is. You know, I'm going through it again right now. I have a plan for my summer, my hiatus. I wanted this. I said it. Don't forget to voice it, to write it. See, because you can tap it, But when it's written, it's your energy. When you say it, it immediately flows to the universe. And the universe wants you to be happy, successful, and in service. Firstly, if you say it, the universe hears it and it allows it to be. So I sit and meditate and I say it. And I don't say it just for me because it's what I want. Because eventually there's no pleasure, no pain. You give away your desire. I want everybody to be their best self. I want you to get the gig and you to get the gig and you to be, I mean, this is how it works. But if you think it, it grows, it's out there. I'm going through it right now. I want to have a big, rich experience in the film this summer. Rich creatively, rich economically. I want abundance to come into my life. Right? Who doesn't want that? But do we ever say it? Visualize it. See it. I see myself walking through the door, baby. Every single day. And I see myself walking to the door not alone. I see me walking through the door and holding it for all y'all. All you, come on, baby. Because you know what I mean? That makes me so happy. But, you know, it's that and all the other thoughts are going to come in and challenge you and, oh, I'm not good enough and, oh, my God, what will they think? And I'm all overgrown. Like, well, that cat came in here with a full-ass gray beard. Blah, 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 blah. You know, I'm shooting now. We judge ourselves. How we do this, how we do that, what we look like, what we say. You know, and we're so locked in. And when you allow it to flow and allow it to go, then your life changes. It just changes. It's just like it becomes butter, you know? And so I'm mindful. And if I go with God or meditating, I miss it. And my brother told me a while ago, be careful what you ask for. The priest told me years ago, be careful what you ask for. Because, you know, I'm asking like it's all good, and I can all be, you know, I used to act like I'm spiritual, and it looks good, and all. Man, now, if I don't sit for a day and I'm not thinking about the divine, so I carry these beads with me, it's a reminder, goodness in people. It's got me now, it's done. I looked up a few years ago when I'm in trouble now, because I don't care anymore. I care about you more than I care about myself. I care about really serving up the universe because the universe needs us.
How do you stay so deep in the film industry? Isn't it full of like
temptation? How do you stay so deep in the film? I love what I do. Film is a meditation. My work is a meditation. I realize this has always been the case. I love what I do so much that, you know, I don't sit there with my iPad in between scenes. I'm trying to serve up the writer, get the fluidity of the poetry in my voice, finding what has been laid down as a template for me, by me, and then and given to me through the writers and creating it. My work is a true prayer. I mean, how else could it be, you know, that it's been 48 years I've been doing this.
As a writer, I want to hear that. But in 48 years, I wanted to ask you your insights. How have you seen opportunities for African American actors and directors